like most projects, the engine swap was taking way longer than I had initially planned for. So finally decided to get down to business. I took 2 weeks off of work and just focused on getting the S4 engine swap done. My brother was able to help me during that time, and he suggested and recommended that we definitely put the engine into the S4 with the downpipes attached, because it's hard to attach them once the engine's in the car, is what he said. And I thought it was a stupid idea, but I let him talk me into it, and that's kind of what we did. So you see here, we left the engine cradle exactly where it's supposed to be, and we just tried to put the engine into the car with the downpipes attached. So we slowly push the engine in, raising it, guiding it, and coming into the car between the frame rails, top down, was a really tight fit.
Alright, so round 2 was a complete failure. Thanks, brother. Okay, let's survey the damage now. This we drove over with the wheel. But it kind of looks fine. It looks like it's in okay shape. Alright, and then this we bent completely upwards, even though I tried to protect it. It might be okay though, not a big deal. Huh? What'd you do?
So we had to come up with a new game plan. The new game plan was to drop the cradle. We disconnected the steering, disconnected the suspension and strut towers on top, and then took out the bolts holding the cradle to the frame of the car. So we were able to drop that about 6 inches to a foot, and that made the engine go in much easier, as you're about to see.
Point in blaming you, you did not know. I thought you were the one for me.
And then the second time around, we also removed the downpipes, because I said that's a pretty stupid idea, and I'm pretty sure we can connect them to the headers just fine when the engine's in the car. So we took them off, and we just brought the engine into the transmission. And this time around, because we lowered the cradle, we were able to bring it in below the frame rails and then just raise it. And that was much quicker and much easier. And that just went straight in like a glove. So you could see here, we're getting it below the frame rails before we push it back. And then we lower it and push it back.
What's going on? I thought you'd go around the corner of the building. You didn't even care enough to do that.
Upgraded the pulley since the ECU had a APR stage 2 tune with upgraded pulley. We took the pulley off the old Supercharger and we attached it to the new Supercharger on the engine. Or we attached it to the Joker's ported Supercharger.
No.
No?
No. Blow on it. Is it hot?
All right, day 2. Is this day 2? Is this day 2? Day 3 of putting the engine in the Audi. Day 2.5, putting the engine in the Audi. We got all the wires hooked up in the back and closed up by this little box on here. We have this wall up with this little wall in there. We got the engine in its place at the correct height. The cradle's in, the cradle's screwed in, the exhaust is screwed in, the drive shaft is in. And on this side we have the rotor on, the brakes, everything's hooked back up here. How it's supposed to be. All of this is screwed in and put on. And on this side we're almost there. We just gotta put the brakes on. All the suspension is screwed in. Cradle's on. Gonna put the brakes on. And we're hoping to start the car today. So pretty soon we should be doing a video of it running. As soon as we can figure out where all this wiring is supposed to go and what the hell we're gonna do with it. So stay tuned. And today we also went to the store and picked up a bunch of goodies. Now our coolant hasn't come in yet from ECS Tuning with the tool we bought. So I had to pick some coolant up this morning. We got 3 liters of transmission fluid because that's all they had in stock. Ordered 2 more. And we have power steering fluid. And then we have distilled water to mix the coolant with. So it's gonna be a good day. The engine looks so white, so clean. What are you doing, bro? Is it always gonna look that white?
I hope so.
Is this spray paint?
Black is good, or white is black.
You're spraying inside the hoses, bro. Come on. Spray the brush, just spray the crap out of everything. Maybe we should have covered the back. If something doesn't work electrically because of this, I'm gonna be really pissed. I'm not gonna lie.
I told you this.
Progress on day 3. We have to take the supercharger off because we noticed that in this hose that was here, there was a hole in the existing air hose. Right here, there was a little hole. Obviously, this hose doesn't have a hole. That's why we're gonna put this hose in. It goes underneath the supercharger, kind of like towards the back there, but way lower, and comes out here. In taking off the supercharger, we ripped a sensor off because we got a little bit too excited. So now we're getting our soldering iron ready, and we're gonna solder this sensor back on. I'm gonna put the hose on, put the supercharger on, and then we're gonna do the reinforcement bar with the whole front end. So this set us back probably half a day, but we're working through it. We'll get done whatever we can. Hopefully we'll still start the car today. Got the reinforcement bar on with the front clip, connected all the hoses, figured out where everything goes, connected most of the sensors, not everything. Got the vacuum hooked up and connected. Got most of the stuff here and connected. And now, moment of truth. You did help.
Oh, you know what?
You did help a little.
My birthday. I'm saying.
And it's your birthday. Okay, you want to start the car? Check coolant level, bro. Alright, let's do this. I want to hear it roar from the outside anyway. Just shut it off like 10 seconds after. And the motor does have oil, I checked. Sure. You serious? It did? Wait, is the emergency brake on? Engage it. Okay. Your ignition's off. We are having technical problems. We're gonna come back right back. We just noticed the clutch pedal is not connected. Stay tuned. Number 2, it's starting the car. Well, look at them apples. So the reason that the car did not start on the first attempt is it could have started, because we started it in the same exact way the second time, was because in America, before you could start a car, you have to hold and press the clutch. So my brother pressed the clutch, it fell to the floor, and he got scared. And then second time, you know, we made sure it was in neutral. He pressed the clutch, it fell to the floor, and you know, we started the car, we were able to start the car. So we just have to bleed the clutch system. So this morning, I went down to my local German parts store. We picked up DOT4 brake fluid so we can drain the clutch. We picked up our transmission fluid that came in, which we don't need anymore because we had enough. We bought a automatic bleed kit, which we're gonna use, which should work great. And then our EZS tuning package came in, which has our coolant tool that we bought. So we're gonna drain the coolant, because after trying to fit the bumper, we noticed this tube here should really go through one of the, through here. It's got to go through this opening here, because otherwise the bumper's in the way. So that tube's got to go through there. And then we kind of noticed a little leak in this tube here, because this, it doesn't click in, does not click in right away. We have another one for parts here, so we're gonna try to see if we can replace them and then pressurize the coolant and make sure that that level's right. See, after starting the car for a little bit and letting it run, it already fell below the minimum level. So we're gonna try to see if we can do that without draining the system, but if we have to, we will, and then refill it. So stay tuned.
One of the last things we had to do using our new bleed kit was to get the air out of the clutch system. Since the pedal fell all the way to the floor, we just had to drain the air out of it. As soon as that was done, we got started working on the front bumper assembly, making sure all the air hoses were connected. Making sure everything works, making sure we didn't forget to plug any lights in, and then as soon as the bumper was in, we started on putting together the finishing touches on the fender liners, making sure those are in, making sure the brakes are connected, making sure all the sensors are in the right place, since we had to disconnect and move them when we lowered the cradle, because all that dropped with it. Making sure the front bumper screwed on to the fender liners, and then once the wheels were on, we're able to lift it, get our jacks out of there, and put the car on the ground and get ready to start driving it. I just wanted to throw out a huge shout out for all his help to my brother Roman.